Hello, and welcome to the 38th episode of the Extreme Hardware Podcast. Today we are joined with a pretty full crowd, starting with the lovely Navjack.
Hello, I'm a degenerate.
Yes. Going on to our next degenerate, Axifer.
Bonjour, from Canada.
Hello, Ashley.
That's not English.
And Chris and Alex.
Yeah, I'm not happy. My bank's being garbage, and I need to transfer money and also get Robinhood set up because I need Nvidia stocks because Nvidia is about to ruin the industry. Shut up, Alex. I'm complaining.
Don't you get Robinhood, seriously?
Why? Who cares?
Okay, sure, there's a bunch of money.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just move that one up to the top because Chris is really heated right now.
Wait, no. Hang on, Alex. Why should I not use Robinhood?
Sorry, what? I walked away from my computer again. Why should
Oh my fucking God, Alex! Why should I not use Robinhood?
First off, I'll take financial advice from this podcast. There's a lot of better other tools that take less sort of cuts.
Robinhood, doesn't take a cut, though. That's their shtick. They're not supposed to, I don't think.
Okay, we'll need to research that. But anyway, Anyway, Chris, go ahead and to explain why you want to buy thousands of dollars of Nvidia stock.
Hang on, trading fees on Robinhood. Investing with Robinhood is commission-free now and forever. We don't charge you fees to open your account, to maintain your account, or to transfer funds to your account. However, self-regulatory organizations such as the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority charge us a small fee to sell orders. They charge these fees for all sell orders regardless of the brokerage. Robinhood passes these fees to our customers. I don't see the problem here.
It has on the value to you.
Yeah, pretty much. Except the value is negative. So
yeah.
Whatever. So basically, the SoftBank, which is a venture capitalist firm that owns just a buttload of tech intellectual properties, also owns ARM. Basically, SoftBank, venture capitalist firm, owns a whole buttload of IP and the tech industry, and they also own ARM, as in Acorn RISC Micro Machine or whatever the heck. The guys who make ARM processors.
Micro machines leading the way.
Hey, shut up. Just shut up. All of you are up to that list. So they own ARM. ARM's used in everything. It's becoming a big deal in data center now. It's making its way to consumer systems and not just embedded stuff in smartphones. And Nvidia has entered a deal to purchase ARM for $40 billion. This is a horrible move. This is going to not really be good for the industry. And also, I plan on buying Nvidia stock because it's going to go up and I can make money off of this.
Yeah, okay, so
that's really all there is to it.
My biggest question with this acquisition is, has it been confirmed whether or not Nvidia is going to be the sole proprietor of all ARM IP? Or are they just going to be the parent company for ARM at this point?
Well, from NVIDIA's newsroom, NVIDIA and SoftBank Group Corp. today announced a definitive agreement under which NVIDIA will acquire ARM Limited from SoftBank and SoftBank who cares? In a transaction valued at $40 billion. Transaction expected, blah, blah, blah. This is what ARM does for the company. Basically, ARM just gets everything. I guess this actually can net benefit the industry if NVIDIA also licenses out some of their graphics tech alongside ARM CPUs. So Mali GPUs are now better and
ray tracing on DLSS.
Yeah, except I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see this going well. However, I do see it going well in the short term, which is why I need the NVIDIA stock. This is not going to change any of my views, incidentally. I'm going to remain exactly as neutral and or biased as I always have been because I don't care. I don't respect the industry.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question. The new Mac chips or Apple chips, those are going to be ARM-based. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And doesn't Apple still have issues with Nvidia for whatever reason, or did they resolve that at some point?
Yeah, still have issues because they're being a little bitch.
I feel like this is an Nvidia power move.
Yeah, I think it is as well.
No, I don't think Nvidia cares about what Apple is doing. It's just, I don't know.
What I do know is MacBooks used to have Nvidia graphics cards, but they were really hot and they would desolder themselves. So Apple complained about it and then moved to AMD.
Right.
Oh, that's actually interesting. Hang on. So from FT.com, what's this? Financial Times.
The rumors I found earlier of the iPad 4 costing, or iPad Air 4 costing more than the previous one.
Wow,
It's
no,
a website called
goddamn shit.
Overpriced Apple.
Yeah, wow, amazing they would report on that. I don't care. Quote from the Financial Times says, multiple people with direct knowledge of the matter said a cash and stock takeover of ARM by Nvidia may be announced as soon as Monday, and that SoftBank will become the largest shareholder in the U.S. chip company. That's interesting.
That is actually pretty interesting.
I mean, there's no way in hell they're going to be a majority shareholder because that kind of like defeats the purpose of buying ARM at that point. But yeah, let's see.
I mean, I think initially this is going to probably benefit ARM in some ways, but I don't know how this is going to be in the long term. That's my biggest concern, I would say.
I mean, short term, it's just rent-seeking for intellectual properties. Like, Nvidia is going to make bank over all of these Cortex cores that they had no part in developing whatsoever.
Right.
That's a big disclaimer. Oh my god. Yeah, like, no, I do not see this going well for the industry.
I was going to say, and it's too bad you didn't have your quote-unquote Robinhood membership now, because now...
Yeah, no, I should have done that ages ago. I should have bought, like, AMD stock as soon as I heard about Robinhood. I'm still beating myself up about that, because I have an opportunity to make, like, $30,000 off that. Actually, hang on, let me look up AMD stock prices so I can feel even worse about it.
You know, and speaking of stocks, I'm really curious to know how Intel stocks performed after the announcement that we talked about last week went down. And subsequently how AMD stock performed after that announcement.
AMD stock has been going down. It reached like $80 high. And then, Intel just plummeted like $10 a share at the end of July. But
that's
otherwise, it's
interesting.
been pretty steady around 50-ish.
Yeah, no. The reason why I was more curious about AMD stock on the day of the Intel mobile CPU product announcement was basically what we were talking about last week, with the fact that it was basically an AMD commercial sponsored by Intel.
Oh yeah. What happened towards the end of July in Intel land? Give me a second.
They announced, or they made a formal announcement that...
7 nanometer late 6 months. Yep. That's the problem.
And then there's also the 10 series. Just supply is just so shortchanged right now. They can't keep up with the demand for the CPUs.
Yeah, I feel like that. They're having fab problems. It turns out they're just like looking at quantum mechanics and punching it in the face or something. It's hard. It's not easy. Yeah, what pictures do we even have in here at this point? There's like a lot.
Okay, so in completely unrelated news, I'm throwing this one in the beginning because everything else kind of links itself together. We now have official reviews or third-party reviews of the Microsoft Surface Duo.
Wait, no, I thought we were doing an extras kind of thing.
No, this is a formal. This is a formal.
Oh, Sevens, you wet rat.
Half.
Yep. So.
No, we can only do an hour at a time or Jack's going to kill us.
Yep. So.
It's all of us.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll tell you.
So, the Microsoft Surface Duo, as everybody knows, do you guys remember when tablets were a thing back in the early 2010s? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fab. So.
Sure.
7-inch phone.
So
Yeah.
So now, as everybody has kind of heard about with the Surface Duo, you're basically getting a tablet. But not only that, you're getting two of them that are just bolted together, which is kind of funny.
It's one tablet with two screens, you big dummy. Just different.
Sure. So, the Surface Duo 128 gig is currently retailing for $1,400 at the absolute minimum that I'm seeing. Actually, I assume that you're the one who added this article. Would you like to talk about this?
No, it wasn't me.
All right, then who added it?
I added every single article that's on the doc.
Okay, well, do we actually want to talk about the Surface Duo?
I thought it was neat. That's about it.
I mean, it's got a 4 camera as it exists in the
What's
article.
the Surface Duo even use? Oh, it's using Qualcomm? That's
Yes.
illegal. That's
It is.
disgusting. Like, I thought this one was using illegal.
Also, one of the things I find the most hilarious about this thing is I think it only has a grand total of 3,500 milliamp hours for the battery life.
And
So-
since screens are the bulk of power draw, let's be real, it's not ideal.
Now, I think as a concept, this device is really interesting because I'm seeing it pitched as just a mobile version of a Surface Book, essentially, with a second touchscreen.
No, not even remotely close, because a Surface Book is an honest-to-God Windows machine. This thing is going to do, like, x86 emulation at best, but it's Windows 10 S,
Well,
which
no,
is, like, Windows.
More so what I'm getting at is the fact that they're not trying to do the folding screen, and they are trying to do a true like quad multitasking with 4 applications split on both screens, or if you put it in landscape mode, you can essentially use one of the screens as a keyboard and the op screen for something else. I mean, honestly, this thing seems like it's more practical for like a business user perspective.
Oh, let's be honest. Company executives just use the most expensive iPhone.
Sure, but
God.
the big thing that I'm thinking about this is just true multitasking on a single portable mobile device.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about how, like, oh yeah, businessmen using phones. Like, remember back when like the BlackBerry was the status symbol that like every like rich businessman was using, and it's like, who cares? It's like there were so many think pieces about how like spotted on the Obama campaign trail, Barack is using a BlackBerry. It's like, yeah, state of the art in 2008, dude. Like, I'm not surprised.
Chris, you don't understand what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to come up with some sort of positive, and you are proving exactly what was in the back of my mind, where this is absolutely useless.
Oh, yeah, well, I'd rather have the BlackBerry because it has a physical keyboard.
No.
2008 era Obama made the right choice when choosing his phone.
Okay, so honestly, so back in like 2015 or whatever, there was that BlackBerry Android phone where it was basically it was just a 4:3 screen with a keyboard built into the bottom of that, and I was very tempted to go for that if it wasn't like twice as expensive as.
Dude, give me Windows Phone OS and BlackBerry chassis, and I would be stoked. Like, everybody involved in sabotaging or mismanaging Windows Phone needs to be shot. Like,
yep.
I hate them. They ruined a perfectly good thing. Like, we could have had a good phone operating system, but instead we're stuck with iOS and Android, both of which are bad for their own reasons.
And iOS is flawless.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Why are you guys hating on Android? Android isn't that bad. But yeah, no, it's like,
I mean, I can straight up. Listen, I just re-imaged my Samsung S8 like maybe like 2.5 weeks ago, and ever since I re-imaged the thing, the GPS just doesn't work consistently anymore, which I absolutely.
Yeah, because in the end, it's Linux, which means you have all of these stupid Linux problems, and it's like vendor-specific Linux of that, which is just garbage. Like,
Well, I had a Windows phone. It was a mid-range Nokia, and that had a really good camera at the time. It was like a 2012 phone. And
yeah, I remember them really pushing that in marketing.
Yeah, the night camera rivals my iPhone 11.
Wow. Okay.
That's how good it is.
Yeah. I mean, I never had the opportunity to experience Windows Phone, so I just can't be as heated. I think if anything, I'm just more upset that we don't have a third option, essentially.
I mean, there was
because it doesn't have Fortnite on it anymore.
Oh God, guys! Remember, I mean, there was the Ubuntu Phones Kickstarter where the guy was trying to get like $20 million to make this. I think the software actually exists and you can flash it onto Android because, again, it's Linux.
Yeah.
But no, do you remember phone blocks?
Yeah.
No? I think.
Yeah, the phone blocks. It was like you had a screen with a bunch of little holes on the back that you would just plug these little modules into. And
Phone.
it was like it was like Legos but a smartphone, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's an interesting idea, but also this is really stupid and never going to work.
That's amazing. I would absolutely have that for the novelty.
I mean, that's a landfill waste, though.
Yeah, no
Oh
kidding.
yeah, it's e-waste hell. Like, it's all those, it's even more e-waste.
Throw away the Wi-Fi for the new Wi-Fi.
I need Y gig on my smartphone.
Not gonna lie though, like something like this would actually be great because it's a true replaceable battery.
Yeah, well, I had that on my BlackBerry Curve 8330s.
I had that on my Galaxy S4.
That's actually really annoying now, is non-removable batteries.
But Andrew, if the batteries aren't removable, then we won't have a reason to coup Bolivia by making people buy new phones for new batteries.
I was
Hey, Elon Musk said he wanted to do it.
Shut up. The batteries are non-removable so that the government can track you and your phone is switched off.
Okay, but like, I would believe that. That seems plausible.
Honestly. So, okay, so I'm going to switch over to a topic that I actually can provide some sort of context for. Y'all like hardware leaks?
Honestly, I don't really care right now.
Sure. Then we're going to talk about it just to spite you, Chris.
All right.
Zen 3 leak, aka Ryzen 4000 series Vermeer chips have been.
We're getting official stuff on October. Oh wait, that's a month away. I don't know what day it is anymore.
Yep, October 8th.
Yeah, but that's like 4 weeks out. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. So if I remember correctly, one of the leakers who was involved with this was technically Igor's lab, but the one that WCCS referenced here was not them. So I'm going to take this as much of this with a grain of salt. But we are looking at so the specs that we currently have with these leaks are the equivalent of the 3950X that we're seeing in the current generation, 16-core 32 thread. We're seeing 8-core CCXs on the chip. We're still utilizing the AM4 socket. Each Zen 3 will feature 512 kilobytes of L2 cache.
It's the same damn thing. Like, Simmons, you please don't go over the specs. It's the same cache as Zen 2. The only difference is instead of 4-core CCXs, it's 8-core CCXs, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if that actually ends up being the case, or if it's going to be, like, not quite that, but regardless, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But the CCX is bigger, which also means more unified L3 cache per.
Yeah, it's basically Zen 3 on the die shrink. That's all it is.
Is it a die shrink though? I thought this was like 7 nanometer plus, like 5 nanometers next gen. I really.
Now, the one part of this article I really don't like is the fact that they're talking about stuff like Ryzen 5000 series and Ryzen 6000 series, which we absolutely have no confirmation on yet. So.
Yeah. RDNA 2 is going to happen. RDNA 2 is the least exciting thing because
that's GPUs, my guy.
Radeon doesn't deliver. I'm barely paying attention. You said something about 6000 series. That's GPUs.
No. They're talking about Ryzen 5000 and Ryzen 6000 in this roadmap, this projected roadmap in 2021 and 2022.
Oh, wow, they're doing annual releases. What a surprise. Wait, where is this roadmap? Is this the WCCF thing?
Yeah, I don't trust it. But I guess the big thing to take away is that...
Who made the roadmap?
That's a great question. Give me one moment.
Because I'm looking here, and I'm not seeing... Oh, no, this is just a chart that WCCF made at the end of the article.
Yeah,
Who cares?
Yeah, nothing's relevant with that. But the big thing to note is we're going to be getting a big official Zen 3 announcement on October 8th. So,
from the article, they're looking like potentially a 200 megahertz clock boost, 17% IPC increase, 50% increase in floating point operations, which made a major cache redesign. So
does anybody actually know what the IPC increase from Zen to Zen Plus was?
Hang on, I want to zero. Essentially,
what I really want to know, they made an announcement for an announcement. I want them to keep making announcements for announcements. Like the next announcement, I want them to make more hype for the next announcement. And then the next announcement makes even more hype. So like 10 announcements in, they're like hiring Beyonce to like sing at a stage, filling out stadiums just to announce an announcement.
Oh, great. I'm really into this idea.
Non-stop.
AMD, if you're listening, please do this.
What they're actually doing.
Just basically Kenny Block to do Gymkhana and then crash because he's not very good.
And then like a bunch of AMD products come out of the thing he crashed into.
You'd have to be good at it to be able to crash it in the right place.
Oh no, when it crashes, it's just like a semblance of what happens with AMD drivers.
Nice. Yeah, I'm all about that.
Anyway, I haven't had any issues with AMD drivers apart from that like 10 or 20 times.
Yeah, I only had issues with it like when I had my 295X2 in about for 6 months when it was just a single GPU card. I was like,
I only had issues with AMD drivers when my computer was switched on.
Look, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but they had an issue with like the dual GPUs on PCB drivers.
Yeah.
They were screwed over, and I was just like, hey, it's just not going to work.
Hi, microphone cut out because Discord is a cunt.
That's a sensible word.
Well,
Yeah.
it's okay because Jack's going to have to edit this anyway. Because
I'm going to leave it in. It's fine.
That's fine.
They were just like, yeah, by the way, if you've got a dual GPU graphics card, yeah, your second GPU just probably won't work for a while.
Yeah, so
or 6 months.
Anyway, Tiger Lake 8 cores are now coming. That's official.
Oh,
wow, Tom's Hardware. Oh wait, this is official? I saw this on Twitter and I clicked the link, but Tom's Hardware just shows up as a completely blank web page if I
the original article is actually from an Intel blog post.
Okay, honestly, Andrew, that was a good tweet. Then link the Intel blog post.
I just did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Intel has 6 pillars of technology.
So, yep, we're looking at an octa-core 11th gen Intel CPU. So go figure we're still on 10 nanometer because that's funny.
Yeah, it's got super fin now.
Yay.
Fins and they're super. And other assorted low-level things that doesn't have any real meaningful impact on you beyond functioning as specified.
Yep. So the GPU built into this thing. Now, for context, this is Intel's CPU and GPU on a single package, essentially, that they just solder to usually the NUCs. And the graphics processor in this is going to be the new XELP Intel GPU with a execution unit count from 64 to 96.
God, yes. Can one of the execution units execute me?
No.
Suck my knocks.
Yeah. Hey, can somebody explain something? Because this is now bugging me. Why is it that there is every day exactly one gnat in the basement? There is never more than one gnat, but there is also never less than one gnat.
Chris?
I don't know where they're coming from or why it's exactly one.
You have to log into your router and you have to enable close net.
Yeah.
Not that kind of gnat.
Oh,
No gnat.
That's the only kind of gnat I care about.
Yeah.
well, aren't you?
It looks like I'm a network engineer.
Oh, that's not Teddy.
Okay, so other worthwhile things. They're advertising that this new XELP GPU will be averaging about 30 FPS at 1080p on popular top-tier titles.
Wow, that's okay, cool. That's different.
Oh yeah, that's good. Let's see. It will support LP4, 4267, and DDR4 3200.
This is stuff we've already heard. You're just assaulting our poor listeners with numbers, and we already know about this from the Tiger Lake reveal.
Actually, wait, they're touting USB 4 and Thunderbolt for it. This is new to me.
Yeah.
I can read.
And PCI
This has been known for months.
Oh, has it?
Stop
Yeah.
throwing words at me, Simmons. It's very offensive.
That bird eating a Pringle, I'm saving that in my bird folder.
I was going to say, Chris, do you have anything insightful to say about this chip?
Honestly, no. I'm just complaining and being a dick. Like, I've really got nothing to add, and dude, USB 4 is gonna be hell. Like, USB-C is already terrible. I was reading a thread on Twitter from somebody troubleshooting their system. If they have a USB-C cable plugged into their computer and their phone, it's fine. If they unplug their phone but keep the USB-C cable plugged in, their keyboard locks up and can send one keystroke every half second. Basically, this cable has a chip in it to indicate that it is able to be used for USB power delivery or something like that. And I think what they figured out was, like, it's just vomiting data over I2C or something along those lines and just clogging up the bus with all of this useless traffic, because USB-C is a horrible, horrible nightmare of a specification, and nobody's implementing it properly, and USB 4 is just going to make things worse, especially now that it's overlapping with Thunderbolt, which has its own unique problems alongside USB-C and USB in general, really. Like, it's going to be a nightmare.
One of the big issues is the fact that the more you can do with a product that's supposed to just be a dumb product, the more people will abuse it. And I don't mean people, I mean, like, company people.
I don't mean people, I mean the corporation people, which the Supreme Court said they were.
Only sometimes, though, when it benefits them, that is.
I have some breaking news. Oracle is taking over TikTok in the US.
Oracle, as in, like, the bad database company?
Yeah,
people?
They make quick databases that never work. Actually,
20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I guess we're actually doing jingoism for social media. You have to be patriotic and give all of your data to real corn-fed American companies like Facebook instead of the got-bang China-mans like
Facebook.
Speaking of which, I put an email from Oculus saying, hey, your Oculus account's going to turn into a Facebook account, and all the sort of terms and conditions for Facebook is like they're going to take over now. So.
Oh yeah, no, we talked about that. I don't think you were here, but yeah, no, it's the thing that Palmer Luckey said wouldn't happen that ended up happening, because of course it would happen because Facebook's involved. Like, this is. I don't think people are going to use Oculus Rift, and I still can't get over the fact that you need a goddamn cloud-enabled account to use a head-mount display.
Yeah,
you have to call all of them. It's just, I'd rather have the Valve one because I like Valve more than Facebook.
No, Andrew, you shouldn't need them at all, is the thing. Like,
yes, we don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just pointless.
The thing about Valve is, it's not that I trust them, it's that I don't believe that they're able to abuse things because they can't really finish any products. Like,
that's why I trust them more than Facebook. Not trust them, just more than Facebook.
Actually, hey, Steam Music Player, has that even been updated since it launched? Because I remember when it did launch, I
forgot about that.
I imported a playlist, and I tried to reorder some songs by, like, dragging and dropping, which, my standard for music players is Winamp. So my standard for music players is, can Winamp do it? And if the answer is, or can Winamp do it, but this thing can't? And if the answer is yes, then it's a bad music player. But like Steam Music Player, when it was just introduced, you could not drag and drop tracks in a playlist to reorder them. You had to right-click, and you had 4 options: move up, move down, move to top, and move to bottom. And you had to do that every single time. So if you wanted to move it 5 spots, you were right-clicking and hitting move up 5 times and praying that you didn't click move to top, because then you would have to click move down a lot more than 5 times.
You wish you could.
Haha, yes, XD. They released this and thought that that was in an acceptable state, and that's why I trust Valve to not be evil.
Yep.
They're not capable of it.
Yes. So moving on, we have we have another rumor. Yay!
Is it the MacBook? You know, it just, oh God, I love rumors.
I heard one rumor about the new iPad. It's going to be more expensive than the old iPad.
Really?
Yeah, the source is overpriced Apple.
Well, my source was Andrew.
I'm going to buy another iPad.
Okay. So anyway, so
No, hang on. That's a good point. Andrew, explain, why did you purchase an iPad Pro?
It wasn't an iPad Pro, it was a regular one.
This iPad gonna be bigger too?
Oh, who cares?
No, it's
I'm just kidding, because they always try to be bigger and better and whatever.
No, that's Android, because that's the only thing they can do to be better is just be big.
Yeah. It's
No,
like,
that's Samsung. Don't
it's like
conflate the
American
two.
cars.
Samsung does the same thing, so.
Google
Samsung's
doesn't.
fake. I don't think
Google doesn't do
Samsung is
anything.
real.
Google's good. Google's the good.
Has anybody ever seen Samsung hand-handed together?
Have you seen
Google is single-handedly destroying the web, but Jack's the best.
Oh, wait, hang on. The new iPad that's coming out, the new feature that makes it worth the extra price is it supports a keyboard that you need to pay $150 to get.
Wow, that's things that iPads were doing in like 2012.
No, physical keyboard.
Yeah,
Oh, as opposed to just Bluetooth.
Yeah.
because it does now
The
anyway.
difference. Just
Uh,
a
well-
little the difference.
Well, one of them you can attach the iPad to.
Okay, and the other one just kind of sits in the case that the iPad's in, so it's like a fake crappy laptop.
Yes.
So I don't see what the difference is here, because people use wireless keyboards all the time.
It has better integration with Mac OS Big Sur,
Yeah.
which doesn't actually because the old iPads that support iPad 14 OS, whatever, I don't care.
iPad
That's going to do the same thing.
yeah, I don't know what I expected.
Something about the 3060 Ti. What's this
Yeah.
about?
So the 3060 Ti, we're getting some rumors for this one now. It is allegedly going to be releasing in the second half of October, as compared to the 3070, which has 5,888 CUDA cores. This one will have 4,864 CUDA cores, also with 8 gigs of GDDR6.
Okay, so what's the difference? Like a few fewer cores?
A few fewer cores and an unspecified boost clock.
Okay, so it's just...
It's basically what we expected. We knew that they were going to be doing, the 36X series GPU.
Oh my God, what happened to Tom's hardware? Image credit, photoshopped image.
Yep.
What does that mean? Does that mean that they photoshopped this themselves and they're citing themselves?
No.
Does it mean they just found this on the internet?
No, video cards photoshopped this image, and that's what they attached to.
Then they should be citing video cards. Jesus Christ, what happened to Tom's? It used to be kind of good. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Let's look at the video cards article. Yeah, memory's the same clock, TDP's lower, big shock. I don't know.
I mean,
It's like 80% as fast. I don't know. There's all of these numbers, and I'm sharing.
I think what I'm more curious about is why is it a 3060 Ti? Why is it not just 3060?
The 3060 is probably going to be that. I don't know.
I don't know. It's silly, but at least we know that this is, or the idea that it's going to be coming in late October. So if you can't afford a 3070, just wait. Is what it comes down to. I'm curious to see how it performs, just in general, though. Like, performance to price, because if it's going to follow the same trend that allegedly Nvidia is pitching with everything else, it seems like a really good option. And then in the other article we've got here, we have RTX or the Quadro RTX Ampere card, which will be coming as well. Now, this one is actually, oh shoot, what is the real source for this one? But this will be featuring a full fat, was it GA102 chip. The difference being the 3090, which is going to be the top tier RTX chip with 1,496 cores. This one will be featuring 10,000, not 1,000. This is going to be 10,752 cores.
This podcast would be so much better if we read things in advance, but Simmons is a bitch and won't let us. It's just full fat GA too.
No, you just can't talk about things beforehand. You could read anything you want. I mean, that's why I added things into the doc, and I was the only one who added things.
Correct.
Oh, well.
You're just complaining because you don't open up the doc ahead of time.
Yeah, it's your own fault.
Well, you should stop bitching at me and ask for clarification about things. That's a hate crime for 10 different reasons. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I know where you live. I'm going to cyberbully you by crashing a plane into your house and flight simulation, sending you.
There you go.
Do it.
I mean, that's better than swatting me, but yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
So really the only interesting thing about this is that it is allegedly using GDDR6 rather than GDDR6X. The reason for that is GDDR6 is available in double the density chips of GDDR6X for now. It's available as 16 gigabit instead of 8 gigabit, which means in clamshell mode, that's 48 gigs of RAM. Memory clock's going to be acceptable. Does it list a memory clock rate? No, it doesn't. It doesn't list a memory clock rate. Thanks, guys. I guess it's 16 gigahertz. Whatever. But the important bit is that it has 48 gigabytes, which, I mean, capacity is going to be more important than bandwidth for this kind of application.
Correct.
That's just kind of how it goes with Quadro type stuff.
Yep.
That's a professional workstation-y card.
And it's probably going to have a price tag of $10,000, just knowing how these are typically priced with the new.
Well, given that the last gen equivalent that was using full fat TU102 with 48 gigs of DRAM was $10,000.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, that's it. It's just, this is kind of what I was alluding to last week when I was saying that the big chip that we're seeing on the 3090 is still probably not the full fat chip, and this is why, because the full fat chip is going on to the Quadro, and it makes sense in my opinion.
Yeah, because Nvidia is making $8,500 extra per card sold.
Yep.
I suspect, though, because last gen there was a Quadro RTX 8000 and 6000, which were essentially the same core configuration. The only difference was one had twice the VRAM and also priced by several $1,000s. I would not be surprised if we saw a 24 gigabyte GDDR6X variant as well. So,
yep,
a 3090 but Quadro branded effectively. Because there's no reason to not use GDDR6X unless it can't do ECC or something, which it can.
It has no reason not to.
I can't remember how GDDR and the ECC works. It's not desktop software. It's here's an extra memory chip. It's more well, we're reserving a portion of the VRAM capacity for redundancy. I can't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not as resource intensive as you might think, and that's just in part due to the nature of error correction, which is it's actually very efficient to do single bit correction, double bit detection algorithms. So instead of needing to use an eighth of the capacity, I think they did back in Fermi days, I think it's back to down to 1/32nd the capacity, or maybe 1/64th even. Whatever. God, my brain's not working. I'm sorry. It's just glazing over.
That's fair.
My brain's not working either.
So moving on to the fifth one, because I have actual information in regarding this next article. So, so you guys remember a few months ago when Western Digital, Seagate, and I think Toshiba were all under fire for falsely reporting not using SMR on their hard drives?
If I remember correctly, it was only Western Digital because they were silently swapping out SKUs. I think everybody else was fairly upfront.
Well, Seagate was also doing some shady marketing, but it wasn't as it wasn't as bad as Western Digital. Well, Western Digital decided to go one step further with this one. Apparently, the RPM is now just a name and doesn't actually refer to the actual RPM of the drive.
Yeah, but in this case,
Very illegal.
In this case, it actually kind of benefits the end user. So what they're doing is they're selling drives as 5400 RPM class. However, they're 7200 RPM drives. That actually does benefit the user. The way people have found this is by sticking microphones next to their case and recording harmonics, just like the tone that the drive is emitting. And we're going to do an FFT on that. Yep, that's 7200 RPM.
So you basically got to the meat and potatoes of it immediately. But basically, the big issue here is, who the hell wants a 5400 RPM drive in 2020? So a 5400. Great, thanks, Alex. Generally speaking,
Simmons, shut up. Alex, what are you saying?
I don't want a 7200 RPM drive.
Okay. It's acceptable that you're a cuck.
No, listen. This is my reasoning why, and I'm going to cut Simmons off because it's funny.
Yeah.
They are fast enough. The speed difference between my 7200 RPM, I don't have one anymore, but when I did, I have one, I just haven't plugged it in. Basically my WD black and my WD red. The speed difference is like, who gives a crap between 100 megabytes a second and 120 megabytes a second? When hard drives these days are just storage. The 7200 RPM drives were louder, more vibration-y, and hotter. Why do I want that? I want it as slow as it needs to be.
And that's exactly it. Basically people were complaining because they would buy multiple different types of these same spec hard drives allegedly. And all of a sudden, the hard drive tray is extremely hot now.
No, I would be very interested because my new 8 terabyte WD Red is hotter than my 4 terabytes. I just assume because it's denser that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's just there's more platters. Yeah, so no, this isn't the first time though that WD has screwed around with RPM stuff. So when the WD greens came out, you remember the WD
EARXs, those ones.
Yeah, probably. I'll take your word for it. But yeah, the first gen WD greens, number one, they were garbage and just killed themselves within a year. They would exceed warranty specification in a few months. But the way WD marketed them was they said that they were using a rotation rate between 5400 RPM and 7200 RPM. And the way they phrased it made it sound like it was a variable speed. So you're getting a 7200 RPM drive, but in order to save power, it's dropping down to 5400. It was kind of deceptive marketing. They were that was the most logical reading, the way they announced it, if I remember correctly. However, it turns out it was a fixed speed. They just spun at 5450 RPM. Which is technically a rotation rate between 5400 and 7200 RPM. It's just completely useless.
Right. So I think one of the biggest complaints that people are having with these with this new RPM shenanigans is so on these affected drives, they are falsely reporting their RPM speed in the smart registry. So they report as a spinning 5400 RPM drive, even though they are clearly not.
Yeah. Western Digital made a response. They said, for select products, Western Digital has published RPM speed within a class or performance class for numerous years, rather than publishing specific spindle speeds. We also fine-tune select hard drive platforms and the related HDD characteristics to create several different variations of such platforms to meet different market or application needs. By doing so, we are able to leverage our economies of scale and pass along those savings to our customers. As with every Western Digital product, our product details, which include power, acoustics, and performance data transfer rates, are tested to meet the specifications provided on the product's data sheet and marketing collateral. Or, in other words, we're going to sell you whatever we want, and as long as it meets the numbers on the sheet, you can't sue us for false advertisement.
Yeah, that's not how that works at all.
Well, no, because 5400 RPM class, they can just argue, we meant that it's, like a 5400 RPM drive.
Yeah, no, he's right.
If you'll pardon an automotive analogy, this doesn't strike us as much different than a window sticker on a V6 sedan, which declares it to be a 4-cylinder class with no indication of what's actually under the hood. Yes.
That's a really crap analogy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I actually really hate computer people who don't give a shit about cars making car analogies.
Yeah, because
I don't know what it is, they always get it really
well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The first thing that comes to mind is the V6 Camry, which proudly declares that it is a V6 because it has a V6 on the badge next to Camry.
Right.
So
My car is a 4-liter, and you can tell because the number in the name of the car is 400.
well, that's not true of modern BMWs, but
or my dad's SLK 230, which is a 2.3 liter engine. Amazing.
Yeah. I have a Corolla.
Thanks.
Okay. So
strangers to reply.
all right. So this next link is a YouTube video. So I'm just going to do some talking about this one. This one is I messaged Chris about this one like shortly after this video came out.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you send me a link of those hard drives that are affected? I just want to check if my hard drive is affected.
Yeah. Here's the link.
Oh, is it that one? Okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So y'all play Minecraft once or twice?
Y'all play Minecraft. Can you guys please move to Alabama?
Have you ever played Minecraft?
Have y'all played Minecraft?
I've never played Minecraft. I've only lived inside a Minecraft world.
Okay. So
I'm a Minecraft girl and
just absolutely asinine and insane project over the past like 6 or 8 months that has been put on by YouTuber Salcy1, where people are like, hey, that image that was commonly associated with a server that didn't have a icon is just set up for advertising, or just the default world in Minecraft. That image? Let's see if we can actually find the seed of this world. And for anybody who cares, the seed is just the RNG number that controls the world generation. So yeah, this has been a really bizarre project where they've basically gone through several different flavors of machine learning algorithms where they've been feeding just various screenshots in various locations, downscaling images to match the thing, running a pseudo-distributed compute node using the Blink backend that's just available to basically allow a lot of 12-year-olds to dedicate their GPUs and other various hardware to performing these calculations on world renders and other sort of things within the Minecraft engine to find this arbitrary 128 by 128 PNG image.
I thought that was found months ago completely by accident.
No. So the last effort that was along similar vein was trying to find the tallest naturally generating cactus in Minecraft.
the cactus.
3.
No, sometimes they can be 4. That's more common than you think.
So yeah, that one goes to some chunk overlapping just world generation things.
It doesn't match Chris's 256 or 128.
I think it's 255 blocks.
It had to be 254 because you have to have bedrock, then sand, then cactus.
Yep.
So you've got 2 blocks you can't use.
Yep.
Big cactus.
So yeah, I think they found that the tallest naturally generating cactus they could find was like 15 blocks tall or something like that.
Wow.
It's just due to how when the world is rendered, when the cactus is being generated, it can generate across chunks just based on how the algorithm works. And if the cactuses will render in or generate in the same spot, they just stack on top of each other. The 6 block tall cactuses are actually naturally occurring in most worlds.
That's interesting.
Long story short, they finally found the original seed that was used for Minecraft.png. It was found in, I believe, Alpha 1.2.2a and can be generated up into Beta 1.73. And the seed number has been listed as well, with the coordinates being at X49 and Z0. It's neat.
Yeah,
Do you know what the guy did when he finally found this world? He built a house behind it, or on that hill.
He just like casually messaged a Discord server like, "Hey guys, we found it."
Oh yeah. So the guy who was running the lead compute for this.
Compute. He means compute. So Boink, Berkeley Open Infrastructure of Network Computing, if I remember correctly. It's like folding at home, but you can submit your own projects. Yeah, this guy had a Boink project set up. Mm-hmm. And it was using CUDA, and he just got like a bunch of people to donate GPU time to like try to do stuff. Like there's a lot of weird intricacies with Minecraft's world generation, where it's like, okay, well, based on these AI upscaled images of pack.png, okay, we can figure out that the original screenshot was 512 by 512, and we know this, and we know how these clouds look, and we know how like the dirt pattern looks. Okay, so we can narrow it down to some of these, and now like, all right, here's all of these possibilities that would possibly generate this, and they just went through them all, and it took a while, but like, they cracked Minecraft. Like they just brute forced it.
Yep. And I think the funniest thing about it was like the guy who made the announcement in this Discord server, apparently, he was just running the back end for this project on his computer, and he had this just really obnoxious alarm setup that went off at 4 a.m. one night. And that
was part of the script. Once it got like the correct seed, it just started blaring on his speakers.
Yeah, and then I guess he just kind of woke up and he was like, "Oh yeah, hey, I found it."
Yeah, I mean, like, you can use your brain power to do useful things and benefit humanity, or you can just dick around because it's funny.
I was going to say, Chris, this is basically a large-scale version of your Cracker Barrel project.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel. AI. Shut up, Andrew. I'm the Cracker Barrel expert. I'm white.
Have you ever been to a Cracker Barrel?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is a Cracker Barrel?
It's a barrel.
Okay. So we
all right. Here's how to summarize Cracker Barrel. It is a restaurant with like country southern cooking, really nice homely food or whatever, just like southern comfort food.
Yep.
And when you walk in the restaurant, you feel like somebody's going to call you a racial slur.
Yeah. Also, my favorite fun fact about it is that because their decor is a lot of like, photos of white people from the 40s and the 50s, antique lawn games, like croquet and stuff along those lines, checkerboards and chessboards all over the place. And then for some reason, above every single table, there's just a curiously hanging a rusty gardening tool. That can fall on you and kill you.
Cracker Barrel decor. Is this like legit stuff? Like they found this at a garage sale and they just like sent it out to a restaurant? Or is this something like they have a factory that is churning out these things for like each new Cracker Barrel? Like they have this company that they contract to make these faux retro tools.
No, honestly, what I'm thinking it is just a lot of sourcing of just these like retro or just classic farming tools and saws and whatever else, and then they just artificially age them to make them as rusty as possible.
Yeah.
Like because every single Cracker Barrel I've ever been to looks exactly the same on the outside, and the structure looks exactly the same, but they never have exactly the same stuff.
That's the thing. Like in all of this project, I think I'm on like Cracker Barrel 220 at this point.
Cracker Barrels, wow.
Cracker Barrel. Maybe it's, no, I think I stopped at like 250 one night. Regardless, I've gone through a lot. There are Cracker Barrels that are located in strip malls.
Yeah.
But they are standalone buildings on the other side of the parking lot. So, like, you've got a strip mall. It's got, like, a big grocery store. It's got, like, a Starbucks and a hair salon and a bank or something. And then on the other side of the parking lot, there's a standalone building, and it's a Cracker Barrel. The Cracker Barrel is never in the actual individual strip mall.
Correct. Yeah, the Cracker Barrel in my hometown is, like, right next to an office back in an apartment complex.
Yeah, nice.
The Great Wall of China is a huge waste of space. They should convert it to a mall and call it the Great Mall of China.
No.
Shut up, Andrew. Anyway, so we're getting, I think we're about an hour in. Jack's going to kill us if we go any further, so we have time for one last article.
Yeah. Actually, this is your article?
The new 14-inch MacBook is 14 inches.
No, that's not the article one. Yeah, the Star Citizen one.
Yeah, okay, so I'll do this one. The article title is Star Citizen is not a, quote, pipe dream, says studio founder. Won't take decades to finish. To which I say, yes, it is. So that's it for this episode.
No. Actually,
No, Simmons, did you even read text chat? I fucking said I was going to do this because it would be funny.
It's funny.
That would have been a good joke.
Simmons.
Yeah, and you took long enough to respond that we can still end it.
Yeah.
So we
Simmons, I will
we
cut
have
you.
Jack, so you should don't even do an outro, just cut it.